Honorable Minister of State and Foreign Affairs, Paulo Rangel, Honorable Mayor of Cascais, Carlos Carreiras, Honorable Dean of Nova SBE, Professor Pedro Oliveira, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. It is a true honor to welcome all of you, representatives from governments, multilateral organizations, private sector, and civil society, joining us from across Africa and Europe. Thank you for being part of this important gathering. Since its inception, the EurAfrican Forum has aimed to be a bridge of trust and collaboration between Africa and Europe, fostering strategic dialogue on shared challenges and joint opportunities. Now in its 8th edition, the Forum returns under a powerful theme: transforming tomorrow, bridging global partnerships to meet the 2063 agenda. This year, we focus on enabling multilateral solutions, visionary leadership, and cooperation to support the African Union's Agenda 2063. Throughout this edition, we'll explore a very wide array of strategic areas, including geopolitics, Africa's influence in shaping global governance, startup ecosystems, investing in innovation across both continents, policies for progress, harmonizing education, health strategies, securing energy, advancing investment and equitable energy development, global markets, unlocking business potential through international fora, technology, leveraging innovation to solve regional challenges, infrastructure resilience, preparing for climate and geopolitical risks, financial institutions, mobilizing global funding for development, trade and investment, accelerating African enterprise growth. Africa is no longer a continent on the sidelines, it is a central actor in reshaping global priorities. And Europe, I believe, has now a historic opportunity not to view Africa as a continent of risk, but also as a continent of immense possibility. I'd like to be with you there in Nova SBE, great campus. Unfortunately, at the moment of this forum, I am in Geneva chairing the board of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. I hope you understand I could not be with you today as it was my wish. But I know we have a great team there, by the way, led by my good friend António Calçada de Sá, and I'm sure it will be a great success. But since I spoke about Gavi, let me share with you just 2 reflections from my recent work. First of all, Gavi is a great example of cooperation globally in terms of global immunization. And in spite of all the difficulties we have now with the fiscal situation of many of our main donors, we were able, in Brussels some weeks ago, to mobilize $9 billion to our next 5-year period. It's a pity that the United States government has announced the cancellation or at least the suspension of $1.8 billion that has been promised by the previous administration. We cannot agree with the arguments presented by the health secretary that was at least skeptical about some of the vaccines we are distributing to the most vulnerable people in the world. But nevertheless, and that point I want to highlight, I think we are going to be able to fulfill our goals to a large extent thanks to the great contribution of the European Union and other European countries. I'm extremely grateful to the European Union, to the European Commission, to the European Council, and also to countries like UK and Norway that have been sure to commit funds in this very critical period. And in fact, most of our countries of partnership are in Africa. Nowhere else in the world people are feeling the pressure of deadly diseases that can be prevented through immunization. And as I usually say, there is nothing more important in the world than saving the lives of millions of children. That's what Gavi has been doing during the last 25 years. And I'm now delighted to say that we are going to continue to do it. And in spite of all the challenges, it is possible still to keep an idea of global cooperation. Because this is not just about the interests, it's also just about justice. And I believe justice should remain a top priority when we discuss European Africa relations and also overall development matters. Another recent experience I had and I want to share with you is Cabo Verde. I just came from Cabo Verde, as you know, a Portuguese-speaking country in Africa that was recently graduated as a high middle-income country. It's amazing. A small country, a very stable and institutionalized democracy, fully pluralistic, with fully freedom, that has been able, in spite of having almost no natural resources, has been able to be, now it's it is in the top 10 of GDP per capita in Africa. This shows that democracy can work, provided there are good systems of governance. I'm really delighted to have that experience, and I could see firsthand how this country, small country, somehow between Africa, America and Europe, has been a great success in terms of economic and cultural and social development. And now, before I conclude, allow me to express my sincere appreciation to the Portuguese Diaspora Council, the organizer of this forum, to Nova School of Business and Economics, and to the Municipality of Cascais. Thank you for hosting us in this space of excellence and global vision, and to our sponsors for making this event possible. I'd like to send a special word of thanks to the President of the Republic of Portugal, Professor Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. As you know, he's our honorary chairman. He never misses these occasions to engage with us. And this year, he has invited to be also with us His Excellency, the President of Angola, my good friend, João Lourenço. In fact, he was recently also with me when I invited him to the Brussels Summit on Immunization. And in fact, President João Lourenço was not only representing Angola, a country that is so important for us, but also the whole African Union. As you know, Angola now holds the presidency of the African Union. So, welcome to them as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in a fragmented world, the EurAfrican Forum stands as a symbol of what we can achieve together. Bridges. Bridges between continents, solidarity between generations, and shared commitments to fair, inclusive, and sustainable development. I'd like this forum to be an occasion for you to cooperate. If we are to truly transform tomorrow, we must do so together, with vision, with shared purpose, sometimes also with courage. May this forum be a catalyst for concrete solutions and enduring partnerships. I wish you all an inspiring and productive forum. Thank you. Muito obrigado.